Hey ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a movie review of The Promised Land, or Bankart, which literally, as it is called in Polish, and it literally translates to bastard in English, but welcome to the review of The Promised Land. And that movie was a really good historical epic, or period piece, whatever, but yes, it was a really good historical movie. It's a Danish movie, actually set in like 18th century, and lots of people say it's basically a Danish western set in Denmark. And I can see that, yes, it does kind of evoke with the costumes and the farmers and kind of the overall setting and all. It does kind of evoke that of a western, but I just prefer to mostly look at it as a period piece set in 18th century Denmark because, yeah, as I said, the costumes and kind of the overall story and all does evoke images of a western, but honestly, it is very recognizably set in Europe, actually. And as I said, it's a Danish period piece starring Mads Mikkelsen in the lead role of Ludwig Kalen, and I think he does a really good job in the role. The overall story of the movie is pretty interesting and engaging, and it has really interesting and complex characters who undergo a character development. And it also has universal timeless themes. I also really like how the story combines happiness and warmth with a gritty and dark realism of those times. And I'm glad that characters actually act like people in those days would really act, as opposed as being too modernized like some historical fiction likes to do. The movie has also a really good and important message that's as relevant back then as it is now, actually, which is that sometimes you might really wish and desire for something, but deep down that actually might not be what you actually need. And this is a very good and important message, and as I said, it's as relevant back then as it is now. The ending was also quite surprising and quite unexpected, but I will not spoil it here. But the performances are also really great, like in the lead we have Mads Mikkelsen as this retired officer after 25 years, Ludwig Kalen, and after retirement he wants to settle in somewhere in the village in rural Denmark. He really did a phenomenal job in the lead role. Like, up to this point, always my favorite role of Mads Mikkelsen was actually Le Chiffre from James Bond Casino Royale, but I also think this was also a very good role of his, and even though, admittedly, I haven't understood a single word from this movie because I don't speak Danish, but I watched the movie in Danish with Polish subtitles, actually, and I really think his performance was phenomenal. Literally, I haven't understood a single word of what he said, and yet, simply by the emotions he was making and the way he was acting and his body language, it was very convincing and amazing performance, and I think it's actually one of Mikkelsen's best performances. And this is also the first time ever I've seen Mikkelsen speaking his native Danish in a movie. I never seen it before. And also, his character, Ludwig Kalen, I actually did not like him at first. And as I was watching the movie, I thought, I might not actually like this movie. He's a really unlikable character, like I can hardly enjoy the movie because I just don't care what happens to him because he's so unlikable. But he actually undergoes a really good character development, and by the end of the movie I come to very much like him. And again, Mads Mikkelsen simply did a phenomenal job playing him. And the main villain, Frederick Schinkel, was really evil, and he was actually, and whoever portrayed him also did a phenomenal job. And he was like literally one of those villains that you're just angry about and literally want to kill with your bare hands. And I have to say also that I've been actually hearing some criticism of him, that some people say he's like way too over the top, way too cartoony. But honestly, sometimes it's actually exactly what we need in the movie, because nowadays modern Hollywood, among other stupid things it's liking to do, it's also they very much like to just portray every villain sympathetically, and they always have to give them some depth, complexities, which I really think is now getting old. So it's really nice to see actually a villain that's just plain evil without any redeeming qualities, and a type of villain that you're just angry and you just want to punch in the face. And again, as I said, whoever portrayed Frederick Schinkel also did a fantastic job. And I also really love the visuals and landscapes in this movie. I've been saying it quite a lot on my channel, how I'm very sensitive to really good visuals and beautiful landscapes, and this movie had plenty of them. And seeing lots of visuals in like rural Denmark, they were all simply beautiful and really gorgeous and feast for the eyes. And another thing, I already said this before, but I will say it again. I really love the message of this movie, which is that sometimes what you want might not actually be what you need. The message is basically that something that what you prize the most in life and what you think really makes you the happiest might deep down actually be completely not something that makes you happy, and that thing you prize the most might not really be the answer to your happiness, because this message is relevant back then as it is now. It's completely timeless and a very great and important message. So overall, I think The Promised Land is a really good historical period piece, and I really had a really great time watching it. I might actually go and see it again. And if I'm being honest, it's probably better than Napoleon from last year, because yes, I was very much looking forward to Napoleon and I was far less harsh on it than most people seem to be, but objectively, this is a much better historical movie. And thank you guys for checking out this video. Press the like button, please subscribe to this channel, and I will talk to you soon in another video. Talk to you later, bye!